Welcome back to Nate's Woodworks. This week is a quick video. It's basically J-Bait's Moxon Vise with pipe clamps, just duplicated and changed slightly for my needs. I started by cutting all of the 3/4 inch plywood stock to size for the length that I wanted for the vise. I also cut a piece of 3/4 inch ply to go in between the two pieces of molding to make that flush. That way it'll have a rear jaw that's stationary. Once everything was cut to size, I set about gluing everything together. I put a liberal amount on and then stuck everything together and clamped it. Next, I cut the chamfers on the back supports that are going to go inside of the table to give the pipes a little bit of something to grab onto so it's not just the edge of the table. Next, I measured the outside diameter of one of the pipes, and it came out to be just over an inch. So I ended up using a 1-inch Forstner bit, and then I rounded out the hole so that the pipes would fit a little easier. Next, I took a scrap piece of 2x4 and made it the same dimensions as my spacer blocks, and drilled a template hole in it so that I could place it on top of the actual spacer blocks and mark the center point. Then I would drill most of the way through the actual spacer blocks until the brad point of the Forstner bit came through the other side, and then I would flip it over and complete the drill to reduce blowout on the back side. Next, I took the Forstner bit and put it in my drill and put the spacers in place and drilled the hole through the pulk side of the workbench. Once that hole was drilled, I was able to use the pipe to align the spacer blocks, and then I secured those together with wood screws, and then secured the block itself to the front side of the workbench with more wood screws. Right around here is where my memory card started to fail, so I don't have very much footage left of the build. Basically, I unclamped the front movable jaw and cut it to the exact size that I wanted. I lined it up with the bench on the front and used the dog holes to hold it in place while I marked where the pipes were going to be. Then I chiseled out oblong rectangular holes for the pipes so that they could move in the horizontal direction and be able to not bind up when I tighten only one side at a time. After that, I put a chamfer on the edges and sanded everything really fine so that it didn't have any splinters or anything. For a more complete build video where it shows nearly every step, I highly recommend JBait's channel. I will put a link to that video in the comments below.
So I'm finishing this on my phone. The memory card on my camera actually blew up and will not record anymore. So I went ahead and finished the vise. It's very similar to JBait's vise. It's where the inspiration for this came from. I used 3/4 inch pipe clamps just because they were on sale at Home Depot when I got them. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's probably really difficult to see in the holes, but the back of the pipe clamps, the quick release is facing the holes on the side of the bench so that it's easier to release them. Yeah, it's pretty dark. You can sort of see it there. And then I screwed it into the back of the blocks, and it works like a charm. My long side is on this end of the bench, so I can put any edge banding or anything that I just need to chisel off the top or plane the top of a board, the end grain. I have 17.5 inches between the pipes. I really didn't want to cover up very much of my center hole where I keep the measuring devices. But other than that, this turned out really well. I will be adding some dog holes in the top of this for the future so that I can clamp with pegs in here and clamp across the top as well. Other than that, I will see you on the next video.